Hello, hello. Welcome to the B2B LinkedIn ads roast today. And today with me, I have Langley Barth, who's the PMM at Intuit. Hi, Langley, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Feel free to call me Lion, guys. I'm joined
Oh,
by a little co-pilot today because I had a grandparent calling sick. So he's going to help me out and make his big screen debut.
ah, maybe you could introduce yourself, Lang, first and probably the Lang Junior.
Yeah, so this is my little buddy Bear. I'm Langley Barth. Feel free to call me Lang. Was a Navy veteran for like 6 years. Came out and have been working into it for about the past 5 years as a product marketer and loving it. Yeah, nowadays I do some stuff on the side with my LLC Civilian Compass to try to help out military veterans figure out what's next for them.
Super duper. So, kind of, you're trying to do a teardown and see what is wrong with something from an outsider's point of view. It's not against any brand, against any product. Just trying to learn from what's out there. Sounds good?
Yeah, of course.
Great. Maybe we start with the first agenda item. Why do you think B2B stuff look boring? I mean, when I say boring is as compared to the B2C stuff. And they fail to convert. Like most B2B stuff look the same. Uh, what's your point of view?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's hard to land, especially in a channel like LinkedIn, because you have to be so specific, if you really want to capture the right person. But like capturing that ideal ICP in most of these situations can just be really tough because they're just scrolling through and you just have like a second of their attention. So you want to be succinct, you want to be specific, but I think if you're too specific, people are just going to pass it up.
And what about boring? Why can't I mean you would have seen Liquid Death, right? The ads there. Why can't B2B become Liquid Death of their industry?
I think sometimes we end up in these kind of echo chambers internally. And so sometimes product marketers can be their own worst enemy of saying, like, hey, here's our ICP based on that ideal customer persona. Like, here's the right positioning and messaging for them. But when you get to like really punchy copy or outside the box ideas, it feels a little bit too risky, especially when your buyer is a little bit technical. But I don't know. I've been impressed with some things I've seen recently. And I think, especially over the past few years, it's kind of fun for me to, when I do get to watch like TV with advertisements nowadays, like it's a lot less of like, oh, the ads are on. This is boring. And then it's a lot more of like, what were they trying to do here? Or like, like that seemed pretty effective. I might not be like their primary demographic, but I see what they're trying to do. So I think as much as you can stray away from your internal echo chamber, get to know the customers, and really have something punchy out there that can grab people's attention, I think that's the best thing you can do.
So let's go on to the first ad. So this one is by Vibe.co. I'll let you take the first shot.
Yeah, so do you know Vibe.co?
I know Vibe.co.
So me personally, I don't. I assume it's something along the lines of like vibe coding. And I intentionally
I,
didn't want to look up things
I had
beforehand.
the same
Is
thought.
it?
Yeah, I think it's the
Yeah.
same thing.
Okay. And so like size matters in this instance. I mean it's intriguing. It maybe makes me want to Google it and see like what are they about? What is it that they do? But like
Sorry, I just
my
saw it. It's a TV advertising software. So
hmm.
how you advertise on Roku, on Netflix or Apple TV. Yeah.
Yeah, then to me, like I think the pros, it will grab attention, and people will possibly look it up. And so if they're going for like an awareness play, that could make a lot of sense. But in terms of like trying to like grab the attention of someone that already knows them, which I think is generally the use case of a lot of these ads, um, I don't know that it's necessarily meeting the mark, but in my opinion, like could be flawed just because I don't know enough about them, you know?
I think if, I mean, for somebody who doesn't know the brand, I mean, at least I would put down a value prop in some way that, hey, I mean, from an outsider, you wouldn't even know why size matters or something.
Yeah, even
Um,
have like a second sentence. Size matters, and
yeah.
that's why something something. Like in this world, it's kind of like maybe if we always talk about you need maybe 7 different touch points before someone's really considering your product.
Mhm.
And so like if they believe they have excellent awareness, like this could become one of the touch points to just remind someone. But this to me feels more like an awareness sort of bad.
Next one. So what I've done is I've purposely not put down the brand upfront, so that you can pick something which you feel is appropriate. Which ad would you click first? And then I'll show you which brands are putting up these ads.
So it depends. But like for me, maybe I'm a traditionalist. I would probably default to the one on the left just because one, it looks pretty. You can see the value prop there and it's somewhat compelling. And I think as you see, like, okay, pretty colors, visuals, it seems to have what I need. And you automatically start reading that, you start drifting to the top to say, like, what is the kind of deeper message? Um, like the second one, I liked it. It's dynamic. um it's a little bit too like black and white that I don't know if it's necessarily going to capture my attention. But maybe if I was someone that wasn't sure about using the right model like in my AI workflows, that could make sense for me, you know. And I think it could make sense for a lot of folks. The last one, I don't know. I just don't think it's meeting the mark from a standpoint of like I get what they're trying to do, like go against kind of this message or traditional message and say like this is what you actually need. But when I look at it, I don't think it really captures my attention.
I love the second one. I show you the brand names. I love the second one mostly because it shows me what I could do with cursor, right?
Totally.
And that uh, and the first one is, I think, is good because I mean everybody knows Lovable, but just that the UI is slightly more generic. I mean, I know you could build a dashboard which looks like that, but yeah, I think last one I'm with you. It grabs attention, but it's too much effort, right? For me, if I'm just scrolling through LinkedIn, it's a
Yeah.
lot to read and make up my mind.
And I think it's just not necessarily giving you enough. And like when you get to just the blue, I'm ready to show a real prototype in Bolt. Like that's not totally provocative to me. I think like when you have maybe the creative that is a little bit less like interactive or buzzy, that like you really need to have the messaging like punching above its weight, you know?
Moving on to the next one. This one is last. Multiply your team's productivity in minutes. Wow, I can find this image, I mean, this stocky image in most Twitter posts. I mean, this pretty much like AI generated.
Yeah. It's just like so basic that it could apply to anything, you know? And so like
Yeah.
I don't know grass personally, but like could could my team use this as paid media? Probably. Could like 80% software agnostic use this as their paid media copy? Probably. And if that's the case, you kind of have to take a step back and say like, okay, like we might not be meeting the mark here because is it important to necessarily like capture the people that are maybe in the middle of the funnel at the time that like this could meet them after they're already familiar with grasp and they might say like oh this is my sign to change maybe, but like this is just too generic. Your team, like say what kind of team. Productivity is one of those like buzzwords we kind of try to avoid. It's just so non-differentiated.
Go to the next one. I was trying to open comments, but while I do that, the first one is for you. It's an Instagram story um, by Perplexity.
And it just says ad free YouTube. I
Yeah.
was confused when I was looking through this one before. I'm not sure what they're getting at. You know, it could be that they're trying to like provide like intrigue, but like do you feel like you know what the takeaway is here?
Um, I mean, I kind of knew because I use Comet. So Comet is a browser by Perplexity. And
Ah,
with Comet, it's all cookie free, right? So there are no ads, and not just YouTube, but any website. Um, so kind of, I think, I mean, maybe it hit me because I know what Comet does. Um, but yeah, for an outsider, I think, I don't know. Did you find it intriguing that, hey, is it like an ad-free YouTube ever?
I think it's intriguing, definitely, because when people like sometimes you like to give people um, the opposite or like what they would like to know, you know? And I think when some people think of YouTube videos, they're like, oh, you have to pay for that free thing and you watch so many ads. And so maybe this ad is meeting the mark from a standpoint of like, for someone that's a little bit further down the funnel, like you totally get what they're going for. And for me, it's just compelling because it's like, oh, it's an ad free version of YouTube. I should probably try this out. Maybe I should sign up.
I really like the handwritten version, like an ad which doesn't look like an ad. I'm a big fan of that. I mean, something which is raw. I think it really makes me stop, right? Because it's not normal. Most ads are really well polished.
Yeah, if
Um,
this was like a pink and purple and blue shiny background with like ad free YouTube as the copy, you'd probably
uh,
say like, I'll keep going. But seeing it in this way can be a little bit more compelling.
okay, so some rapid fire. So, what is one unfiltered truth about B2B marketing? There are four options.
I know a lot of them are true, which is hard. If I had to say which one is the most true, what do you think, Bear? I would say it's more A, you know, that like we do all of this alignment work. Like there's so many people internally, and you sign off on this message, and it's like, okay, like everyone says it's good. But then when it goes out into the market, sometimes like too many hands have touched like the creative's work at that juncture that just leave it in a state where it's like undifferentiated and just not meeting the mark, you know? But I also think like B is certainly true.
I think most stuff has AI powered these days. Right? If you're not AI powered, something is wrong with you.
AI powered, agentic workflow, anything like that. I think it's kind of funny because like in different markets that are maybe like more technologically savvy, the buyers, you see the AI powered like come to them. And so like for some of them where like the industry is sort of like technology laggards, you notice that like the AI powered stuff is just starting to come to those folks as like, oh, this feels like I'm eating my veggies type of thing. But I think in just about every industry, it very clearly or very quickly becomes like, oh, this isn't very important. This is just lip service.
On your last point where you marked A, as a B2B marketer, how can I be closer to the buyer? What do you do to stay close to the buyer?
Yeah, me personally,
Yeah.
I like that's my primary thing as a product marketer is like just talk to hundreds of customers each year, um, and have my personal rule is for every three customers I talk to, I want to talk to seven prospects, and so like 70% of my energy is with people that are not currently customers, because I find like if you're just talking to your own customers over and over, that's a different kind of echo chamber. And you don't want to continue to put all of your energy into building for folks that you've already captured, you know? You want to like continue to differentiate and try to bring in like a different subset of the market that you're not really capturing right now, you know?
And when you say you talk to prospects, do you go on like discovery calls with your account executives?
I do those, but I have a personal opinion that like customer or prospect conversations kind of live on a spectrum where on the right side is the sales conversation, which can be there's a lot of bias like on the different ends of this spectrum. So one side is sales and customer support. The other side is probably product. Bear's chiming in on that. And then in the middle, we like to live as product marketing of like really mitigating the bias and trying to approach it from like a kind of open eyes point of view, because the sales conversation is frequently like it's like if you went to the doctor and they asked your height, weight, and gender and then gave you your medicine. Like it's not it's not really prescriptive, you know? And frequently they're not asking enough questions. Where with product, it's a lot more of like, is my baby ugly? Like you're showing them the product and saying, it's like me with my, it's like, is this baby ugly? Oh, you've got a lot to say on that. But I
Mhm.
think that like as much as you can walk that middle road and try to mitigate bias, like the better state that you're going to be in.
Okay, let's go to the next one. So this one is a video ad. I'll just play and we'll talk about it.
Octopost has helped shape the marketer I am today. Octopost has empowered our team to find their voice and create an environment where everyone feels confident sharing their insights and expertise. Thank you, Octopost, for being more than a tool. You are a true partner.
What do you have to say about that? I just played the video in the mute again, but what are your early thoughts?
Yeah, I think overall it's just kind of weak because it doesn't get into any level of specificity. Like the kind of gut check test is could you replace Octopost with whoever any one of their competitors are and then put this out as an ad? Probably. Now, a different question is like if this was aimed further down the funnel, it gets into like targeting, you know? Like it could be helpful as maybe a longer form, like testimonial type thing, or to aid in like a case study about a particular firm that's thriving with it, but with no proof points, no specificity, like you just don't know anything more about Octopus. And so maybe there's some amount of intrigue that you're like, I should figure out what they do because this seems like it helps this woman. But like, to me, it's bad. It's like real generic bad.
My first instinct, because if you see the first 5 seconds is just like a logo coming in, like logo intro. And I think those are the weakest 5 seconds because that's when you have the maximum attention and you're just trying to put down your brand. So I felt the hook is not good enough. I mean,
Mm-mm.
maybe if you, I mean, I understand all customers are not camera friendly, and I mean they may not be like a real actor, but showing like a logo animation for the first few seconds is terribly bad.
Yeah, and I think you can't waste the customer's attention like that, you know? You need to catch them with a pain point or a creative storytelling lens. Like I think there's a lot of different ways to go about it, but I'm with you that like you generally have 5 to 7 seconds and if you can't get through during that time, they're going to go to the next thing.
So this one is again rapid fire. What's your point of view? Lead magnets should be gated or ungated?
Yeah, I'm sorry if I end up being a very much it depends kind of guy with a lot of these, but
No,
on
yeah,
this one, like
I should have told you the first one. It depends is not allowed, so you can give me specific answer.
I would say there's two different use cases. You know, I think for a traditional lead magnet, probably gated. You know, that like you're trying to get leads from specifically that piece of work. Now, in the world that we're evolving into as like AEO/GEO stuff, answer engine optimization is like really coming to the forefront, you're kind of losing credit for these like beautiful and rich pieces of work for the LLMs because they can't crawl it when it's gated. So I would say gate it, but then take it internally and cut it up into a few different versions, put them out in different places so that you're still getting credit from the LLMs for kind of your visibility and your ability to properly answer the most important questions for customers.
I think you're right. With the zero-click marketing zone, era, um, I feel today as a marketer, it's very difficult to attribute success from a channel or a particular campaign. And like you said in the past, right, that a prospect would probably have like 7 to 8 touch points before even they start talking to you. It's very hard to say, right? Because their prospects are searching everywhere on Slack, on ChatGPT, on probably anywhere. My point of view is, we put down all our Stripe files like Ungated. Take whatever you want. And my selfish reason for doing that is, if my stuff is good and they share, somebody else will see my brand, and that would add
Totally.
to be a touch.
Makes sense to me.
Next one. What's more dangerous, being boring or being unclear?
I think nowadays it's being boring because even if you're a little bit unclear, people still could be intrigued. And I think we saw that with some of these ads earlier today, where like, I don't 100% know what it's about, but I might go deeper just to try to learn, you know? And I think we don't sometimes don't give people enough credit for being curious customers. But if you're boring, no, like no one's going to go any further, in my opinion.
This one is again a video ad.
Ever since I started using Lusha, my sales bonuses have gotten bigger. Way bigger.
Lusha's AI-powered sales streaming gives me an endless stream of fresh ICP leads arranged in prospect playlists and prioritized by intent, so I can focus on booking meetings with the right people, hitting my quotas, and collecting bonuses. Sign up for free today and get free credits. Lusha. Just sell.
What do you think about this one?
Okay. I think like if you wanted to tell me, is it slightly corny? Yes.
Yeah.
But is it effective? Probably also yes. In that they very quickly get to the value proposition. They are very specific about what they're talking about, showing like how this is helpful, mentioning on the back end what the call to action is and that you get free credits. Like, I think you're kind of rewarding your prospect with like multiple dopamine hits during that video, where they start and say like, what's this all about? But as it continues to go, if it's something that's relevant for them, like you may have captured their attention and may have done enough for them to think about like next steps, you know, and made it very clear for them.
I normally love it whenever you use exaggeration, like when you visualize exaggeration. I think it really makes an impact in my head. At least the attention goes there and be there in my head, because everybody knows sales bonuses like is super important for any sales guy, right? And I think you exaggerate the benefit. I think it's eye catching.
Yeah.
I think we have one more to go before we go to the conclusion. So this one is for Osto. I'm not too sure what they do. Seems like a compliance tool. But what do you
It
think
seems
about
like there's just like a lot going on, you know?
this?
And I think I've been there with like web pages, paid media ads, everything we make, we want to pack so much in and get our money's worth. But I think when in doubt, simpler is generally better, you know? So like this is the kind of thing that maybe further down funnel could be very effective to really say like, this is it for you. This is all you need to know. But I think if you're walking by it, you're first like seeing the price, you're seeing the message, and then from there looking at some of the components on the left. So like, is this the kind of thing that's going to stop someone on the street if they saw it? Probably not, you know?
I think the street billboard probably is just a format of the ad. I think they're still putting it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's too busy. There's no white space. It's too busy. Yeah, from the awareness point of view, of course, my eyes go to 999 per month. But yeah, I think a lot of it I'm not able to grasp.
And that's like, I say the street thing just as like, same thing as what percentage of the views will be on people's phones? You know, a lot. And so, like, is it a different experience or is it something you're really having to look closely? Or some people are having to put reading glasses on to see like the details. I think in those circumstances, you just have to kind of think again, simplify, and like, I think when you go even deeper, like in the white area, there's just so much going on. Like, this looks more effective as like some version of this simplified for like a web page could be helpful. But I think you have to think about it feels like a repurposed web page that was thrown into paid media.
Alrighty, I think that's the end of the session. On closure, probably what are your key takeaways from this session? I mean, what's your message for somebody who's trying to run B2B ads?
I think get in front of customers, talk to them, make sure you talk to prospects as well. Try to gut check things so that you're not in too much of an echo chamber internally. And when in doubt, in terms of copy, try to reduce it by like half. You know, when you're doing copy heavy ads, think about what is the one differentiated, defensible, most important thing that we can stand on. Go with that. And if you're not sure, talk to customers, put it in front of them, see what they think.
I love your pick. I mean, I really like that first pick where you said talk to prospects more than you talk to customers because you're trying to write the messaging for people who you want to convert and not people who are already converted. But thank you so much for your time, Lang. If people are interested to learn more about you or connect to you for advice, what's the best way?
Yeah, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'd appreciate if anyone watching would go and follow, just launched like my LLC on the side, Civilian Compass, which is really just aimed at helping military veterans that are getting out and trying to figure out what their next career path is.
Super duper. Can you just leave a comment on the LinkedIn live? Probably we'll also add it on the YouTube one.
For sure, man. That'd be awesome. I had a great time.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Lang. And bye bye from your host, Rish. Talk to you soon.